Hi everyone. So I've had a question from Ben, and Ben has asked, what mods would you recommend to make your bike safer and what mods to make your bike faster? And I'm going to treat those as two completely different questions. Some of these things will overlap, but faster doesn't always mean safer, and in many cases quite the opposite. So I'm going to focus on safety first. So these aren't in any particular order, but I'll start with brakes. So one of the things that many of us do, Ben, is we upgrade our standard brake pads and we put in double H sintered pads. There are better pads out there, but generally speaking, double H sintered pads perform better, they bite better, and give you more braking efficiency, especially if you ride quite fast. As well as the pads, you can upgrade the discs. So I'm running EBC wavy discs as opposed to standard. There's nothing wrong with standard discs really for a standard road rider, but I needed to upgrade my discs anyway, and I decided to get these. The wavy design in them basically helps with heat dissipation. And obviously if your brakes are dissipating as much heat as possible, it means that they can maintain their level of performance because they don't then overheat the disc, less chance of the discs warping, etc, etc. Some people even go so far as to upgrade their calipers. These are standard, nothing wrong with them, and I don't need to upgrade them. Staying with the brakes, I've got steel braided brake lines. I don't know if you can see that in the light, but lots of bikes will come with rubber brake hoses, and the problem with rubber hoses is they expand a lot, especially when the brake fluid gets hot under a lot of heavy braking. And as the rubber hose expands, it means there's less efficiency in the brakes. So steel braided lines will expand less and therefore more efficiency and therefore better braking. Again, staying with brakes, some people upgrade their master cylinder. So I've kept my standard master cylinder, but some people might fit a Brembo master cylinder, which performs much better than a standard master cylinder. Your brake levers might even make a difference, and the position of your levers. So I've got ASV adjustable levers, and the adjustability comes from this little dial. And what that basically does is it can move the lever out or it can move the lever in, depending on the size of your hand. Obviously, you need to be able to operate the brakes safely. So if you've got adjustable levers and you can get the lever in the ideal position for the size of your hand, then that's going to increase your control over the brakes. Some people even upgrade their grips on their bars. So I've got Renthal race grips. And the reason that I run Renthal race grips as opposed to standard grips is because Renthal race grips are a lot thinner. And because they're thinner, it gives me more feel, more control over the bike. So with braking, the other thing that you could possibly do is upgrade your brake fluid from DOT4 to DOT5. DOT5 is used if people do lots of track days and racing and so on. But if you're just a road rider, there's no real need to do that. So pads, discs, hoses, master cylinder, even your levers can matter. And then, as I say, not typically related to brakes, but your grips, because your grips are one of your primary points of contact with the bike. So in terms of control and therefore safety, that's really important as well. So what else have we got for safety? Some people upgrade their lights. So I've put LED headlights in my bike because obviously they're brighter and you can be seen more easily compared to the standard halogen lights. But most bikes these days, most new bikes will come with LED lights anyway. Some people even put extra lights on their bike, especially adventure bike riders. They put like extra daytime running lights on their bike just so they can be seen better. So in terms of safety, that's pretty much it, other than I would say setting up your suspension properly. You don't even have to upgrade your suspension, but when you get a bike, especially if you get a bike for the first time, whether it be brand new or second hand, is to double check that your suspension is set up for your rider weight and your riding style. You can't see my rear shock because it's buried underneath my swing arm, but setting up your rear shock and setting up your front forks So a lot of bikes, some bikes won't have adjustable front forks. Some of the cheaper, smaller bikes, but you know, any sort of mid-sized bike and upwards will have adjustable forks, and there is adjustability in the compression and the compression damping, and adjustability in the rebound and the rebound damping. So basically how your suspension performs is going to massively help safety as well. So that's it in terms of safety. I'm trying to rattle through these and get them into a 10-minute video. When it comes to making your bike faster, again, there's a number of things you can do. One of the best things that you could do, although we're quite limited with road bikes, is to reduce weight. And a lot of people will reduce weight from their bike by swapping out the standard exhaust system for a titanium full system, a D-Cat, etc. Standard exhaust systems weigh a lot. You're talking, I'd say a full exhaust system with a catalytic converter, a steel system, would probably weigh about, I don't know, anything up to 8-9 kilos maybe. So compared to maybe 3-4 kilos in a full titanium system. So that's one way of making your bike faster. Another way is going back to the suspension again. So if your suspension is performing better, it means you can get in and out of those corners better, get better efficiency from your acceleration because your suspension isn't bogging down too much. So yeah, having your suspension set up is really important. But in terms of power, making your bike faster, loads of people will fit a power commander. Now, if you do fit a power commander, you need to get your bike mapped, because the power commander needs to communicate with the ECUs to get all the air-fuel mixture correct, give you smooth, efficient fueling. Same if you upgrade the exhaust system, same if you put certain types of air filters on. So anything to do with the air-fuel mixture, you need to get it mapped. Or you could get your ECU flashed as well, that's another option. They're slightly different. ECU flash and actually getting your bike mapped, slightly different, or can be slightly different. So other than that, in terms of power, you could change your gearing. So basically my bike has on the rear a standard 42 teeth rear sprocket and a 16 teeth front sprocket. Now if I wanted to make this bike accelerate quicker, it's not going to give it more power, but to make it accelerate quicker, I'd put a smaller sprocket on the front, go down to a 15 tooth, or a larger sprocket on the rear, go up to a 44 teeth, for example, or both. And yes, that's going to make your bike accelerate faster, but you will compromise top speed. And also, depending on how your bike reads your speed and gives you a readout on the speedo, that might affect your speedo as well. And my bike, it does. So you'd have to get a speedo healer so your speedometer is accurate, but that's only on some bikes. But yeah, and again, tires make a difference. Tires, the type of tires that you got, the tire pressures, etc., they all make a difference. So what I would say though, Ben, is anybody can make a bike faster, but it doesn't mean to say that they will be able to ride faster. So what I would do is focus on being a better rider, not necessarily riding faster, because anybody can pull that accelerator and go faster, but it doesn't make them a better rider. Generally speaking, someone who is a much better rider will be accumulatively faster than somebody that's a poor rider, even though that poor rider might be on a faster bike. So I would focus on developing your skills is the first, no matter what bike you're on. Develop your skills first, then start to look at modifying your bike. But yeah, I'd focus on the safety before the speed, before making your bike faster as well. So hopefully that helps, Ben, and hopefully that's some useful information for people. If you have any more questions, folks, just keep the questions coming in, and I'm always happy to try and answer if I can. But for now, stay safe and have fun.